Take a moment to look around you. The smartphone in your hand, the clothes you wear, the coffee in your cup, chances are almost everything you own arrived on a ship, packed inside a large, rectangular steel box. This humble container, ubiquitous yet largely invisible, is the unsung hero of our global economy. But how did this simple innovation become the backbone of modern trade, transforming everything from manufacturing to your daily shopping? Let's dive in. Before these steel giants ruled the seas, shipping was a chaotic, costly, and incredibly slow affair known as breakbulk cargo. Picture dock workers or longshoremen manually loading individual sacks, barrels, and crates onto ships, piece by painstaking piece. This process was inefficient, expensive, and a logistical nightmare, taking weeks to load a single vessel. Theft was rampant, and goods were frequently damaged. It was a bottleneck stifling the potential of international commerce. Enter Malcom McLean, a tenacious North Carolina trucking magnate. Born in 1913, McLean wasn't a shipping mogul, but a man obsessed with efficiency in land transportation. By the 1950s, his company, McLean Trucking, was one of America's largest. He understood the economics of moving goods better than almost anyone, but a glaring problem plagued his trucking empire: the bottleneck at the docks. The spark of an idea ignited on a sweltering 1937 day in Hoboken, New Jersey. McLean sat fuming for hours, watching his truck wait to unload at the docks. He saw longshoremen laboriously transferring cargo from his truck, piece by piece, onto a ship bound for another port. A thought struck him. Wouldn't it be great if you could just pick up the whole truck and put it on the ship? This simple frustration would sow the seeds of a revolution. McLean's initial concept involved loading entire truck trailers, wheels and all, onto ships. This was known as roll-on, roll-off, or ROR shipping, and some early attempts were made. However, carrying the heavy truck chassis was wasteful, taking up valuable space and adding unnecessary weight. The breakthrough would come when McLean realized it wasn't the truck that needed to go on the ship, but simply the cargo in a standardized detachable box.
The true genius was separating the box from the chassis. Instead of moving the entire truck, McLean envisioned simply moving the sealed, secure container. This meant cargo could be loaded at the factory, driven to the port, lifted onto a ship, transported across the ocean, then lifted onto another truck chassis at the destination, all without ever touching the actual contents. The vision was clear: a seamless, intermodal transport system. To pursue his audacious vision, McLean knew he needed to control the shipping side of the equation. So, in 1955, he sold his thriving trucking company for $25 million, a massive sum at the time. With this capital, he bought Pan-Atlantic Steamship Company, later rebranding it as Sealand Industries. This acquisition gave him the fleet and the infrastructure he needed to turn his revolutionary idea into a tangible reality. The moment of truth arrived on April 26, 1956. The SS Ideal X, a converted World War II tanker, departed from Port Newark, New Jersey, bound for Houston, Texas. Instead of oil, its deck carried 58 custom-built steel containers, each 35 feet long. This maiden voyage, though small in scale, was a monumental step. It proved that a ship could be loaded and unloaded with unprecedented speed and efficiency, signaling the dawn of a new age. The initial reaction to McLean's innovation was a mixture of skepticism and outright hostility. Traditional shipping companies, deeply invested in the old breakbulk system, saw no need for change. Powerful longshoremen unions, fearing job displacement, vehemently opposed the new technology, staging strikes and protests. Ports, designed for manual labor, lacked the cranes and vast space required for container operations. The old guard fought hard against the inevitable. Early containerization faced significant logistical hurdles beyond resistance. Cranes capable of lifting the heavy boxes didn't exist in many ports. Customs regulations, designed for individual packages, struggled to adapt to sealed containers. Different companies began developing their own proprietary container sizes, creating incompatibility issues. Without a universal language for these new cargo boxes, the full potential of intermodal transport couldn't be realized.
The lack of standardization was perhaps the biggest roadblock. If every shipping line, railroad, and trucking company used different-sized containers, the seamless transfer that McLean envisioned would be impossible. Imagine trying to load a 20-foot box onto a chassis designed for a 40-foot one, or a crane calibrated for a different weight. The entire system would grind to a halt. A universal standard was absolutely critical for global adoption. The solution came through international collaboration. In 1961, the International Organization for Standardization, or ISO, stepped in. After years of negotiation and technical debate, the ISO adopted specific dimensions for shipping containers: 8 feet wide, 8 feet high, and 20 or 40 feet long. This seemingly mundane agreement was monumental. It created a universal standard, allowing containers to be effortlessly moved between ships, trains, and trucks anywhere in the world. With standardization, the economic floodgates opened. Containerization drastically slashed shipping costs, often by as much as 90%. The labor previously spent on individual package handling was almost entirely eliminated. Ships could be loaded and unloaded in hours, not weeks, meaning fewer port days and more time at sea, maximizing profit. This massive reduction in transportation expenses made global trade exponentially more accessible and affordable. The impact on transit times was equally profound. Goods that once took months to travel across oceans could now arrive in days. This speed and predictability were game changers for manufacturing and retail. Businesses could operate with lower inventories, confident in faster delivery. Perishable goods could be transported globally, opening up new markets for agriculture and food products. The world became quite literally a smaller, faster place for commerce. Containerization triggered a dramatic shift in the geography of global trade. Traditional port cities, with their narrow docks and reliance on manual labor, often struggled to adapt. New megaports emerged in areas with vast tracts of land for container stacking and efficient access to rail and highway networks. Places like Singapore, Rotterdam, and Los Angeles invested heavily, transforming into crucial nodes in the global supply chain, handling millions of containers annually.
Conversely, many historic port towns, unable or unwilling to make the massive investments required, saw their economic vitality wane. Waterfronts that had bustled for centuries fell silent. The skills of generations of longshoremen became obsolete, leaving behind communities struggling with unemployment and economic decline. It was a stark reminder that even beneficial economic revolutions leave casualties in their wake, reshaping landscapes and livelihoods forever. The longshoremen, whose physically demanding jobs were at the heart of breakbulk shipping, bore the brunt of disautomation. While some new skilled jobs emerged in operating cranes and managing logistics, countless others were lost. Union battles were fierce, but the economic tide was too strong. Over time, unions negotiated agreements for severance, retraining, and early retirement, acknowledging the undeniable efficiency that containers brought, despite the human cost. By the 1970s and 1980s, the container revolution had gone global. Europe, Asia, and other continents embraced the standardized box, building their own container ports and investing in intermodal infrastructure. New shipping giants emerged, operating vast fleets of specialized container ships. The world's oceans became highways for these steel boxes, carrying everything from raw materials to finished products, connecting distant economies like never before. This innovation fundamentally reshaped manufacturing. Companies could now source components from anywhere in the world, assemble products across continents, and deliver them to markets with unprecedented speed. The concept of just-in-time manufacturing, minimizing inventory and maximizing efficiency, became viable. The complex, interconnected global supply chains we take for granted today owe their very existence to the simple, standardized container. For you, the consumer, the impact has been enormous. Containerization made imported goods vastly more affordable and available. The sheer variety of products from around the globe, from exotic fruits to affordable electronics, is a direct result of the efficiency of container shipping. It fueled the rise of global consumerism, bringing the world's goods to our doorsteps at prices unimaginable just a few decades prior.
The container even played an unexpected strategic role. During the Vietnam War, the United States military faced immense logistical challenges in supplying its troops. Traditional methods were slow and inefficient. The adoption of containers allowed the military to rapidly transport supplies, equipment, and even entire temporary bases. It demonstrated the system's incredible versatility and robust nature, proving its worth far beyond commercial applications. Yet this revolution isn't without its downsides. The sheer volume of global shipping contributes significantly to carbon emissions. The massive container ships burn heavy fuel oil, impacting air quality and marine ecosystems. Efforts are ongoing to develop greener shipping technologies and more efficient routes, but the environmental footprint of our interconnected global economy remains a significant challenge that containerization amplified. And we've seen the fragility of this hyper-efficient system recently. When a single ship, the Ever Given, blocked the Suez Canal in 2021, the entire global supply chain buckled, costing billions daily. This incident starkly highlighted our collective reliance on containerization and the choke points that can bring the world's economy to a grinding halt, exposing the vulnerabilities inherent in such an optimized system. Malcom McLean, the man whose simple idea sparked this colossal transformation, retired a rich man. But perhaps more importantly, he fundamentally changed the world. He was driven not by grand theory, but by practical problem solving. He saw an inefficiency, conceived a solution, and relentlessly pursued its implementation against significant odds. He proved that sometimes the most profound economic shifts come from unexpected places and unexpected people. So the next time you see a long line of those steel boxes on a truck, a train, or a ship, remember the story of Malcom McLean and the container revolution. It's a testament to how human ingenuity, focused on a seemingly mundane problem, can unravel centuries of inefficiency and knit together a truly global economy. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest wealth isn't in gold, but in the simple box that moves it all.